Hey y'all, hey y'all, hey y'all. I'm Miss Joni, and I'd like to officially welcome you to the very first Food Won't Fix Hunger event, a real conversation about food insecurity among youth. Now, look, I'm not going to take up too much time because this whole conversation is for youth, by youth. And we welcome every young person joining us this evening and invite you to invite a friend because this is where change starts. If you're a young person in Baltimore who has ideas and thoughts for the folks who are making decisions on your behalf, then you need to be here. We're watching all the comments and we're making sure your messages get directly back to those who are in a position of power. And don't be mistaken, y'all. Tonight doesn't fix the problem. It starts the conversation, and we need you to be a part of this conversation. So stay connected with us and keep showing up because important conversations like this help us to create a better Baltimore. There's a whole group of caring people, including myself, working on your behalf. And we're called the Baltimore Children's Cabinet for Youth Food Insecurity. We're doing our best to figure out how to move forward in fixing some of the issues that you're dealing with and including you in on the conversation and the work. So shout out to everyone on the team, including Miss Holly, Miss Tisha, Miss Angela, and everybody else who's getting their hands dirty with the real work. So before we get into our actual program, I want Miss Caitlin to give us just a brief overview of what we mean when we say food insecurity. And if y'all don't know Miss Caitlin, then you're going to want to know her. She's a heartbeat mentor, of course, a doctoral student at Hopkins, and a member of the food insecurity work group responsible for this event. Now, aside from being all of those wonderful things, she's also my sister. So y'all please help me welcome Miss Caitlin to the stage. Drop her some hearts, y'all.
Thanks, Ms. Joni. And thanks again to everyone who's joining this really important conversation today. So as Joni just said, today our young leaders are going to talk to us about food insecurity. So just so we're all on the same page, the term food insecurity refers to not having access to enough foods. And in particular, we're talking about healthy foods. Now, people could experience food insecurity for a number of reasons. Maybe they don't have enough money to buy the foods that they want, or maybe they live in a neighborhood where there are no stores that sell healthy foods or foods that they want to eat. Now, we know that food insecurity has been a big issue during the coronavirus pandemic. And in Baltimore City, y'all, around 1 in 3 families is currently experiencing food insecurity. But we also know that this is not a new issue. Certain groups of people have always had a hard time accessing food. So for example, Black and Brown communities more commonly experience food insecurity. And this is a direct result of historic racist policies and practices that have limited opportunities and created large barriers for Black and Brown community members. We also know that other populations, like young people, more commonly experience food insecurity, and specifically young people in their teenage and early adult years. Now, why is that? Well, a lot of times, young people are sort of this forgotten group because food programs either target adults or they target young children, but not teenagers. Okay, but that's enough for me. So today we're here to listen to our young leaders who've worked extremely hard to put together this town hall for you. So if you're an adult in the room, please listen closely to the experiences of our young leaders. Ask questions and take to heart their recommendations. And like Ms. Joni said, if you're another young person in the room, be engaged in this conversation. It's your job to speak up. It's your job to ask questions and to share your own ideas. And like Ms. Joni said, this town hall is just the beginning of this conversation. We hope that all young leaders across Baltimore will continue to fight for their right to equitable food access. Back to you, Ms. Joni.
Hey, thank you so much, Miss Caitlin. Didn't I tell y'all she was amazing? So look, now that we are all on the same page, I need every young person that's joining us right now, do me a favor and get one other young person in on this conversation because this doesn't happen without your support. So I appreciate Miss Caitlin for that simple and easy breakdown. So listen, your host, I got to introduce your host real quick for the evening. She's a 2020 graduate from Forest Park High School, a freshman at the Coppin State University, and she's also living proof that leadership lives in all corners of your mind and your heart when you focus on living in your purpose. I could not be prouder of this heartbeat. And if you knew her story, then you would understand why she's such a big deal to me. So, y'all help me welcome your host for this evening, Young Elder.
Thank you so much, Ms. Joni, for that warm welcome. I'm so honored and humbled to be here with you guys today. And like Ms. Caitlin said, food insecurity is a huge issue in Baltimore, and this pandemic has not made it any easier. And the reason why we're so strict and so strong on this topic is because the youth are hungry. And like Miss Caitlin said, they focus on the kids and they focus on the older people, but nobody's focusing on the youth, focusing on the teens. So that's the reason why we're here today. And we're going to bring Kelly in for the people who may not speak English, and she's going to do a quick translation so you guys can know what's going on.
Hola, mi nombre es Kelly, estoy aquí. Muchas gracias a toda la gente que se ha unido de la parte de la comunidad latina. Hoy estaremos hablando de la inseguridad alimentaria de los jóvenes en Baltimore. Algunas soluciones que mi grupo y yo tenemos hoy es tener renta accesible, tener oportunidades para jóvenes, tener educación para el público y tener escuelas que nos den más alimentarios y nos den una caja para 7 días. Y muchas gracias. Lo siento mucho que no podemos traducirlo, pero por favor, mándenos mensajes, mándenos cosas, todos los comentarios de ustedes. En serio, nos necesitamos. Muchas gracias. Tengan feliz noche. Back to you, Elder.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate that because we want this town hall to be extremely inclusive, especially for people who may not speak English. Because, like Miss Caitlin said, Black and brown people, and not just Black and brown, white, everybody. Food insecurity is a widespread issue in Baltimore. So now I'm going to give you guys a rundown of what's going to be going on tonight. So first, we're going to have an amazing performance by Almighty Ra. Then we're going to have a panelist. We're going to have a panel of youth who's going to be answering some questions surrounding around food insecurity. And then we're going to open it up for you guys in the comments for you to guys ask questions, and we'll give you answers on what we think. And then lastly, we have a raffle. So I'm going to tell y'all how to enter this raffle. So all you have to do is go on Instagram and make a post. It can't be a story post. It has to be an actual post on your page. So when I look up the hashtag, we can find it. Use the hashtag Food Won't Fix Hunger. All one word together. Food Won't Fix Hunger. Use that hashtag and just engage with us. Tell us what you think. Tell us your thoughts. If you have any ideas, share those. And at the end of this, we're going to go back, look at those hashtags, and we're going to randomly pick a winner. And you have the chance to win a MacBook, iPad, iPhone, or a hug from me. So whichever one you win, that's what you get. So next, we're going to be bringing on Almighty Ra to give you guys a performance on food insecurity.
All right, how y'all doing? It's Almighty Ra. I have a poem for you guys today called Food Won't Fix It. Mama, I'm sorry I hit the trap because I ain't trying to starve, but I'm trying to eat. And now I'm out here dodging dented cars and ducking police. I'm only 14, I shouldn't be living like this. Daddy left when I was 3, so now I'm out here taking that risk. Got locked up, that was my only guaranteed meal. Oh, I was glad when they was taking my risks. On my way home from school, I spent my last dollar to get a pack of noodles and chips. Going days with nothing on my stomach, now I'm starting to feel sick. Yeah, my stomach in knots. Yeah, my stomach in a twist. I'm finally 16, I can get a job to put some food on the table. Mama, we gonna eat this month or we gonna pay our bills, rent, gas, electric, and cable. But you gotta understand, it ain't a lack of food, it's a lack of jobs and opportunity. Lil Johnny White, so he gonna get the job first. What's the difference between you and me? And you got the nerve to talk about some unity. And you got the nerve to talk about unity. And I said food won't fix my hunger, but I feel like I'm going under. Now I feel like I gotta go and rob somebody. And why I feel like this, that's the only thing you could wonder. I'm the oldest sibling trying to make money so I can take care of my fam. I got a little sister and she 15, don't want to have to look up to another man. She 15 years old thinking about starting the OnlyFans. When I was 15, I was on the block and I was selling only grams. But we don't need no handouts, but we do need a helping hand. And we've been begging for this for years, but y'all ain't hearing what we saying. But now I'm stuck, battling oppression and depression. It's my newfound obsession. And now I'm stuck in despair, asking for help, but don't nobody seem to care. Walking to the corner store just to steal the food that I'm missing, all because I played into the game and the gimmicks. The hood's built like this for a reason. It's just another part of the system. And now look at me. I'm just another statistic. And now I'm screaming food won't fix it. Birthday coming around and I ain't got too many wishes. All I really want is to put some food on my dishes. I'm sitting wishing that things were different. I gotta make something happen. And yeah, God, He my witness. I'm about to do something crazy. I'm asking for forgiveness, but I'll probably go to jail anyway, so there ain't no need for no repenting. But listen, this is what I'm thinking. I'm thinking about robbing the same corner store I went to after school. The wife staying in the back, and plus the old man a fool. Fast forward, another dead black teen on the news, and this is why food won't fix my hunger.
Thank you so much, Almighty Rod. Can y'all just keep dropping them flame emojis? Because he just came up here and he told y'all his real life story. And that is one of the reasons why we're doing this today, because I know that he is not the only person in Baltimore that's feeling like that. So now we're going to bring up our panelists of youth, and we're going to be answering some questions for y'all about food insecurity. So first panelist that we have coming up is Kamaya.
Hey everybody, I am Kamaya. I'm a sophomore at the Baltimore Polytechnic Institute. I'm a sophomore, and can I just say, shout out to Almighty Rod. Like, that was so real, it was so passionate, it was so true, and it was so authentic. And that's something that you don't see too often in our city. So shout out to you, Rod. We really appreciate you coming up here. You just dropped the mic and you set the stage for our conversation.
You definitely did. All right, y'all. So our next panelist is Mr. Trent.
Hello, everybody. My name is Trent. I'm in 9th grade, and I go to Patterson High School. And shout out to Almighty Rod too, because that was very powerful in what he said, and like that was amazing and what he said.
True. All right, y'all. So our next panelist is Kelly.
Hola, mi nombre es sorry. Hi, my name is Kelly. Sorry. I'm here representing the Hispanic community. I go to Western High School. And yes, I really, really enjoyed his presentation. It was so amazing.
Thank you, Kelly. And last but certainly not least, we have Naeem Adams.
Hey y'all, my name is Ryan Adams. I'm 15. I'm a freshman. I go to Edmonton Western High School. I just want to shout out to Almighty Rob because he definitely did his thing, and that's true Kelly. Keep it going, brother.
Definitely. All right, y'all. So here's the first question. What are some experiences with food insecurity that you have gone through? Kamaya, would you like to go first?
I would. Personally, I'm gonna be real with y'all. I've had a lot of experiences with food insecurity. I remember being 5 years old, and I'm the youngest of 4 on my mom's side, by the way. So I remember being 5 years old and having my mother tell me, like, let's play hide and go seek, like let's play Three Little Bears, but the lights have to be off. And our lights were off because she had to choose between feeding me and my siblings or paying the light bill for the month. And like personally, I had to deal with a lot of things growing up. The food insecurity was one of the biggest ones because I was so malnourished and I was like really little for a really long time. And, you know, like it really just hurt my heart watching my mother work multiple different jobs and have multiple different hustles just to make sure I ate at night.
Thank you so much, Kamaya, for being so vulnerable right now and just telling everybody what you've been through. Because, like I said, I know you're not the only person that has had to experience something like that. Trent, can you explain to us whether you've had some food insecurity experience?
Yeah. I really haven't had any experience with food insecurity because my mom has always worked more than one job to make sure we have enough food. And if she didn't work as much as she does, we wouldn't have enough food to eat at all. She can't even get food stamps, so she has to work more than other parents. But I have seen other my friends, family, and other people in Baltimore that do not have food or money to get food, especially in city neighborhoods and that don't have grocery stores.
Thank you so much, Trent. So, like Trent said, he necessarily hasn't experienced food insecurity firsthand, but he hasn't because his mother has to work all of these extra jobs just to provide a plate for him and his family. And honestly, that's not fair. You know, your parents shouldn't have to slave away just to be able to provide food. Food should be an equal right for everybody. And honestly, that's kind of the same thing that I went through. Like for me, I used to go to school back before it was free lunches for everybody. When I went to school, I fell in the margin where you poor, but you're not poor enough to get free lunch. So it's like I would go to school and I would want to get food, but it was like $5 every single day. And $5 every single day, that starts to add up. So it's like we don't have food for me to take to school, but I can't afford to buy food at school. So that's my experience with food insecurity. Kelly, would you like to go?
Yes. Personally, I haven't had anything because obviously my family has been very grateful, and a lot of my family members have lived here in the U.S. and they sent money to my people back in my country, and they've really helped us a lot because I seen it with other kids in my neighborhood where they didn't have food to eat every day, and it was really heartbreaking because I was really little and I always wanted them to have a smile on their face, and I always make sure that even if they fell down, that I was their life. That was like a little help to push them up. That's my.
Thank you so much, Kelly, for sharing that. That you are being so transparent and so honest with us. And I know that there are some people out in the audience that are feeling the exact same way. Naeem, would you like to share?
Yes, I would love to. I said my experience with food security is that sometimes my household will run out of food during the month, and sometimes we barely have transportation to make it to the market to get what we need. Some of those markets don't always have the produce we want or need, which makes it more difficult for us due to limited resources.
So thank you so much, Naeem. Thank you so much, Naeem. And that kind of guides us into our next question. You know, Naeem said sometimes transportation to the market can be the one of the only issues. So my next question is, why do you think food itself won't fix hunger? Kamaya, would you like to go first?
So, when we were going over the show and we were asking these questions, like we always just looking at each other like, "Wow, y'all, food really don't fix hunger, do it?" Um, I personally believe that food doesn't fix hunger because you have so many different issues in the city that you can't control. You have poverty, you have gentrification that's beginning to take over the world, you have violence. Our violence rate is off the charts. We were named like the most dangerous city in America. So in order to fix hunger, you have to make sure everybody has jobs. And in order to make sure everybody has jobs, you got to make sure everybody has transportation. And to make sure everybody has transportation, you got to make sure you can provide it for them. They have to make sure they have clean records and clean urine in some cases. If y'all know what I mean, you got to make sure you can get to work and get back. You got to make sure you can pay your bills. In order to stay out of poverty, you got to make sure you can pay your bills. So it's so much deeper than food. Food isn't the only thing that will push this issue out. Like you got to make sure that people aren't being pushed out of their neighborhoods. You have to make sure people have jobs. You have to make sure people are living above the poverty line. You have to make sure that we're not giving temporary solutions to long-term problems.
Thank you so much, Kamaya. And I can definitely relate on that. Like I know for me, growing up, there was a market. It wasn't too far from my house. It was a little bit of a walk, probably like maybe to 8 or 10 blocks, which I mean it's not that far, but it's not that close either. And at the time my mother didn't have a car, so we would have to take like a little cart, and you can imagine how much food you can fit in a little cart. So, like Naeem said, you know, transportation is really essential. And let's say the bus is my only form of transportation. What if I can't afford to pay for the bus? So, it's many different factors on why food is not the only solution to hunger. Trent, you have any ideas?
Yes. I think food won't fix hunger in Baltimore because some people aren't able to get food or to the places that supply it. What they need to fill their stomachs and live their lives with no worries, so then they can just eat with just no problems in their life.
Thank you, Trent. Kelly?
Yes, I would like to say something. As all of our stories, I don't know if you guys pay attention to them, but all of our stories has something to do about work. All of our parents have to work so hard to provide for us and provide for our families. If we don't have a job, if we don't have the money, how are our parents supposed to provide for us? How are we supposed to provide for our families? It's so much more deeper than that because yeah, somebody can give you a box of food, but then what are you gonna do with it? Do you have something to cook with it? We had this conversation for so long, and it's just really heartbreaking that people just think, oh yeah, I'm gonna give you a box of food, and then that's it. It's more than that.
Thank you so much, Kelly. Like, I feel like tonight we're really exposing the truth. 'Cause a lot of times people just think, I give you a box, it's got a couple of produce in it, and your family should be straight. But as we can see, it's not that easy. Naeem, do you have any comments for this question?
Of course, and I would like to share. I said I believe food won't fix hunger in Baltimore because that has only been temporary solution. As a community, we need to come up with a more permanent solution to a consistent problem at all times by any means necessary. Especially especially now with living in shortages like grocery stores, transportation, access in areas throughout Baltimore City.
Thank you so much, Naeem, and you're 100% right. And while we're talking about solutions, not only solutions, but sustainable solutions. One box of food, if I give you a box of food, I can't just assume that your family's going to be good for the rest of the week. We have to make sure that we're having reliable sources where people can go and they can have healthy food, nutritious food, and quality food. So now I'm going to ask you guys, what are some solutions that you think can help reduce food insecurity? Kamai, would you like to go first?
Yes. I think that some solutions that can help solve food insecurity is making sure that it like everybody said, it goes so much deeper than feeding people, and it goes so much deeper than making sure that somebody has something to eat. I think we should really start using it's something called the Granny Project, and the Granny. I don't know if y'all know, but y'all get on it with the Granny Project. Get on it like popcorn. It's so amazing. Like you can get a workout and they give you a food box and it teaches kids to cook. It teaches kids responsibility. It teaches them how to really care for themselves and it teaches them how to take care of themselves. And that's something that we need because a lot of our parents don't do that. A lot of our parents are working so hard to make sure that we have food to eat that they can't make sure that we learn these important life lessons. And personally, I want to get tutoring involved in the Granny Project where you can get tutoring, you can get a meal lesson, you can get some food, and you can get some exercise for the day. That ideal that can help our kids thrive in schools. If our kids are thriving in schools, then they don't have to work these minimum wage jobs for the rest of their life. The Granny Project is like this. It's a group of people who they deliver a box of food to your house, and it actually has a few of our heartbeats from Heart Smiles on it. Which shout out to y'all. Y'all did y'all thing on the first season of it. I'm so proud of y'all for it. Um, the Granny Project is composed of a bunch of different people coming together and making sure that people get some food, people learning how to cook, and people are getting exercise. And like I said, the heartbeats that were on that project, I'm so proud of y'all because I didn't have the strength to do it. And I know that it took a lot for y'all out of y'all schedules, considering y'all going to school, y'all got jobs, y'all got lives of your own. So if you participated in the Granny Project, huge shout out to you. It couldn't have got done without you and all of the adults who put in time and effort, everything that everybody who helped donate food, who donated money, who donated their time. Y'all really did that, and y'all were amazing for that. And I'm so proud of everybody.
Honestly, I couldn't have said it better myself. I participated in the Granny Project when they were having it, and one thing that Kamaya didn't mention, she said it's youth. It's run by people. It's run by youth. It's youth ran. So that's another up, you know. But I participated in the Granny Project, and to say the least, it really helped. And I'm 19 years old, and it taught me how to cook. It taught me What's healthy, what are good things to eat. Yeah, I was just about to say that. Make sure y'all follow Heart Smiles MG so y'all can find out more about this granny project that we're talking about. But Trent, do you have any ideas on how we can reduce food insecurity?
Yes, I have a couple actually. One that one solution that can help reduce food insecurity in Baltimore that would not only help the youth but the whole community. And for example, the like turning empty lots or unused areas into community gardens, a nonprofit organization and volunteers from the community can build a garden with fruits, vegetables to help feed the community families. The organization can help teach the community how to grow food that they need.
Thank you so much, Trent. He has a great point. Turning empty lots into gardens, not only will we be providing jobs, opportunities, we'd also be providing people a sense of pride. Because when you grow something in your community, this is mine now. You're not gonna mess up around here. You're not gonna litter around here. So not only will we be able to reduce food insecurity because we'll be able to provide food, fresh food at that, but we'll also give people a sense of love, a sense of hope when they see their own food growing. Like that's a different feeling. Kelly, do you have any solutions to food? Solutions to reduce food insecurity?
Yes, one main one that I really, really wanted to talk on was increased job opportunities for young people. Like we've been saying, it goes way deeper than just giving somebody a box of food and saying, "Here, go cook it." And we don't know what they have in their home. So, with that being said, us Latinos, we don't qualify for help from the government because we don't have a social security number. So it goes into so much that a lot of people can qualify for those, but we can't. So we have to work 10 times harder to get money, get a car, and provide for our families. And we're not just providing for our families here, but our families back in our country as well. Like, if we give young people opportunity to work and give them a minimum wage and prepare them and show them to what it feels like to earn a bit of money and help out the families. Like I've been working and I feel so proud of myself because I'm able to help my family. I'm able to provide for myself. And I feel like that's so much powerful than just giving somebody a box of food. But that's all I wanted to say.
Thank you so much, Kelly. And you make a great point. Like she said, everybody can't just get food stamps, get financial aid, get help to help pay for food. And if you do, it might not always last forever. Like, for example, my mom, she never qualified to get food stamps. And during the pandemic, I had got a card, a PEBT card, and they had put a certain amount of money on it, and they were saying, since you're a student in Baltimore City, we're gonna give you this card so you can get some food. And honestly, it felt like a lifesaver. And I felt like I could finally get food. I could finally get the food that I want, the food that I want to eat, and I can finally afford it. And then the money ran out, and I was back at stage one. And I felt so helpless because I'm like, the first time I get some help being able to pay for my food, now it's gone and I'm back to where I started. And that's one of the reasons why we're going so hard, because we know that we're not the only people that are feeling this way. And like Ms. Joni said, we need to focus on the people that are out of high school, that are trying to transition and get their life together, because we hungry too. I'm a struggling college student. I am hungry, okay? Naeem, do you have any solutions?
Yes, of course. I said, my proposed solution to reduce food insecurity among youth is to provide extra job opportunities for the youth to pass and proper training to help them become successful in their own terms.
Thank you so much, Naeem. So, guys, now I have another question for you. What are some ways that the adults and the people in the audience can help support these solutions and help support you with these ideas on how to reduce food insecurity? Kamaya, you have any ideas on how they can help?
So one idea that I personally have, I think that we all need to have a big old sit down. You know how you sit down with your family and when there's a problem in the family, Y'all all got to sit down and come to a solution. I feel like that's what we need to do. And I think that youth need to be at the table. That's the biggest thing. Youth absolutely need to be at the table because who knows what's better for youth than youth? And another thing, like our system victim blames so much. They victim blame so much. You don't give somebody the resources that they need to survive, and then when they aren't surviving or doing something they're not supposed to survive, the cycle continues. We can't blame people who are impoverished, people who are food insecure, and people who don't have good jobs or good sources of incomes because that all ties back to our leaders in power. And it isn't fair. Nobody chooses to be food insecure. Nobody chooses to be hungry for days on end, and we shouldn't blame them for it. And they shouldn't be punished for our leaders' incompetence. I'm be completely honest. We are suffering for our leaders' incompetence. It is not fair that I have to worry where my next meal is coming from instead of focus on getting an A in honors American government. I shouldn't have to worry about if my mom has to pay the bills or not, or if she's going to feed me one day or 1 month, or if I'm going to go hungry for the next 3 months because she has to make sure we have somewhere warm to sleep during the winter. I shouldn't have to worry about that. That's something I should never have to worry about. And it's something that our youth worry about every day. They never get a chance to be kids. And I feel like we need to give that back to our youth because that's what they deserve at the least.
Thank you so much, Kamaya. That was powerful. Trent, do you have any ideas on how the audience can help support?
Yes. Like we could like make community gardens, more farmers markets in different city neighborhoods, more nutritious foods like fruits and vegetables at neighborhood corner stores. For example, the Cherry Hill Community Garden, the Great Kids Farm, and the Backyard Base Camp.
Definitely. I really agree. And I feel like if we all come together, especially all the people in the comments, I see y'all and I see that y'all are also, passionate about this topic because we understand that it's real. And I feel like one way that we could really help support us with these ideas is we gotta hold our policymakers accountable. Food deserts and food apartheid, they're intentional. They intentionally put our markets where we can't access them. So one way that we can help support is holding the people who make these laws accountable for the things that they're doing because they know we're hungry and they see that we're hungry. So somebody has to tell them. Kelly, you have any ideas?
Yes, I do. So one main thing that I want to do highlight is Central Soul has a program where you can kind of sign up and you can get food for free. You just need to sign up and you can go to the spots that they have it at. I feel like one big and most important thing is educating our kids from the beginning, from when they're starting school. It's educating them. Because I remember when my first two sisters went to school, they got a little plate, but they had like different spots where they can put their food in. And like now with my sister's now in second grade and they never did that for her. And I was like, well, why is this changing? Why is this all of a sudden changing? Why aren't schools like making this a priority for our kids to learn that they need to be healthy? Why are we not creating this atmosphere where everybody's getting educated? And as Kamaya said, like we really need to involve our youth to the table and because we know what's best for us. We have ideas too. It's not all the time up to the parent to make the decision of like, oh, what are we doing this like because the kids have the voice as well. Like how we're doing this right now and how all our thoughts are coming together and we want to do something to change something. They have the willpower to do it as well.
Thank you so much, Kelly. You have an amazing point. Naeem, do you have any comments for this one?
Oh, for sure, always. So I think Great Kids Farm is a great example, and Black Yield Institute, the the program that helps people with food agriculture and things of that nature, especially when it comes to food serving, things like that. And because it helps the youth get the training and resources they need to help resolve food insecurity. For example, Youth Reach has a summer job opportunity with Great Kids Farm, so you're not only learning how to be part of the solution, but you're also getting paid for it as well. And with the Black Youth Institute, the ones that's help people with food agriculture that's tied in with Trail Community Garden. And if you want to really know more about it, this is the suggestion from my brother as well. That was part of the Black Youth Institute.
Thank you so much, Naeem. I definitely agree. Those gardens would be a great idea, especially to help reduce this food insecurity issue that we're having. And I also want to second what Kelly said. Education in food is extremely important. If I don't know about healthy foods, if I don't know that if I eat carrots it'll help my eyesight, or if I eat certain vegetables it can help reduce something else, then there's no reason why I would be drawn to it because I don't know anything about it. So making sure that these schools are implementing healthy food habits and healthy resources to get foods, that's extremely important. And that's one way that you guys can help support us is start speaking up. If you feel like your school doesn't speak on food or speak on nutrition, say something, because if we're all asking for it, there's no way that they'll be able to turn us down. So now I have one last question, and we kind of answered it a little bit throughout, but I just want to get a final piece. Why do you think specifically youth need to be involved in helping this food insecurity issue? Kamaya?
Youth need to be involved in this because who knows what we want more than we do. The problem is we have so many people speaking for us instead of us speaking for ourselves on our behalf, and it doesn't give us a chance to stand up for ourselves. It doesn't give us a chance to advocate for ourselves, and it doesn't give us a chance to instill equity in our system. Our policymakers are honestly focused on equality instead of equity. They're giving everybody the same thing, and everybody doesn't need the same thing. Sometimes it's not about how much this group of people gets, but how much this person gets, or how much the other person should get. And I think that's the most important thing, that we need to be able to speak for ourselves instead of having somebody speak for us.
Thank you so much, Kamaya. I definitely agree. Too many people are speaking on youth, what youth want, what youth want to see, especially in their communities. And the youth aren't being able to have a say on it. And that's definitely not fair. Trent, why do you think that youth need to be a part of this process?
I think it's important because it gives young people a voice to help be a part of the solution to fix food insecurity in Baltimore. It also gives people a safe place to go, someone to talk to who can understand and help with their needs. It helps the youth become part of the solution and not the problem.
Definitely, that's 100% true. Kelly, why do you think that youth need to be involved in this process?
I could not say it any better than Kamaya did, but I do want to add something to her. Like it was so powerful how she said it. But yeah, we need to get our kids involved. Like one way is like doing this. Even you guys in the comments, like you guys commenting things like that, they help us because we can project them. Like giving other people ideas and telling them like this is what we want, this is what we need. Like especially we need so many things and people are not listening to us. So it's so important for us to, like I said, nobody knows the youth more than we do. So that's all I wanted to say.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Kelly. Naeem, do you have any final thoughts on why you think youth need to be involved in this process?
I said I think it's very important for young people to be in this process because it helps them to build that network with individuals that are in a position to help resolve the issue on reducing food insecurity.
Definitely. Thank you so much. And I agree. Youth, when we come together, it's powerful. And we represent the next generation. So if we could get it right now, we won't have to worry about food insecurity becoming a generational issue. If our generation can understand we need healthy food, we need it to be accessible to whoever needs it, and I shouldn't have to pay an arm and a leg to get it, then we'll be able to affect change for years ahead of time. So unfortunately, guys, we never have enough time, and we could really talk about these topics for hours. And if you guys have any extra thoughts to put into what we said, make sure that you guys just go follow Go the Distance Baltimore on Instagram or Be More Children. That way, you guys can keep up with us. And because this is not the last time that we're going to be speaking on this topic. But now I want to open it up to the audience so that you guys can ask us questions and we can tell y'all what we think. So any moment now, the comments that you guys leave in the YouTube chat will be appearing underneath, and I will just continue to ask our panelists what they think about these questions and give our opinions, just so that you guys can see our insight. So we just gonna wait for the comments and the questions to roll in. Cool. Taylor said, "How do you think we can bring more awareness to food insecurity in Baltimore?" No, she didn't say Baltimore, but y'all get it. Kamaya, how do you think?
So I think one way we can bring more awareness to food insecurity is educating our kids in schools. You don't know something until you learn about it. So unless we are educated and we can speak for ourselves, then there's no way that we can know. So I think that we should start educating our kids in schools.
For me, I think one way that we could bring awareness is we gotta start getting these rappers, these celebrities to start talking about food insecurity. They need to start talking about how it's an issue, because if we could get a Popeye's chicken sandwich to blow up, we can find a way to people to see people in Baltimore and people all over the country are hungry. We need to make it a trend, make it a right, like I said, make it a hashtag, so that people can draw attention to the situation and not just blow it off like it's nothing. Trent, do you have any ideas on how we can bring awareness to this?
Not really. Actually, not really.
Okay, that's cool because you shared a lot of ideas and a lot of solutions. Kelly, do you have any ideas?
Um, Somebody said in the comments about stigma. We need to kind of eliminate stigma. Like, that's one big thing. One thing about my community is stigma plays a big role because of the fact that we don't talk about these things. We don't see another Hispanic person talking about this because we don't want to acknowledge it. We're too afraid to get shut down, and we have so many barriers, lack of knowing the language, lack of not having a social security number, and all of these stuff come into play. So yeah, there is a way that we can eliminate stigma, but that is just such a big thing that people just need to start talking and talking and talking and talking more about it until it becomes okay. Because at this moment in life, we feel like it's not okay to talk about it. We feel scared to talk about it. So it's like it plays a big role in that.
I definitely agree with that, Kelly. Stigma is a huge issue. And I don't know if it's just me. I don't have any shame saying I am hungry. I'm ready to eat. Is the food ready? So there's no stigma around saying I'm ready to eat. But for some reason, there's stigma around how can I get this food, or I need help. Like Almighty Rod said, we are youth. We need help. We're not asking for handouts, but we are saying we need help from the community, help from the lawmakers, the people who are making these decisions for us. We need help getting these resources. Naeem, do you have any ideas?
Yes. The awareness. I wanted to speak on about the quote. You are what you eat, or the difference between bad produce and good produce. Not only we want to educate our youth, but we wanted to to make our youth acknowledge the fact that all food you eat is not good food, because someone told you this and that and the third. It's not always that way, or in that that decision, because they not the ones that made the produce itself. You got to actually do your actual research to get to the right results for what you need, not only for you but your health as well when it comes to food insecurity.
You are 100% true, Naeem. Thank you so much. Can we see? Okay, next question. Okay, so what are some ways that you think the school system could help this issue? I have an idea. I feel like the one way that the school system could help this issue is providing 7 day food meal boxes. So let's say, for instance, you come to school on a Monday and they give you a box of food and it's able to feed you for the whole week. An easy meal. Say something like macaroni and cheese, something that you can cook, but it's not unhealthy, like ramen noodles. So having schools being able to provide healthy food options that the youth can take home with them and not only feed themselves but feed their families, I feel like that would be a amazing solution. Kamaya, what you think?
I think that, again, like I said, we really need to start educating our youth on obesity, on diabetes, on, like, it's like kids have become so accustomed to eating hot Cheetos and a soda for dinner. Like, why are our kids eating hot Cheetos and sodas and they think that that's okay and it's healthy? And it's because that's how they grew up. We have to break these generational curses. And again, our kids coming up should not have to suffer for our parents' incompetence or our leaders' incompetence. They should have the ability to grow up healthy and not worried about type 2 diabetes if they can help it. Worry about being obese. The obesity level is off the charts. So I think that we should really start educating them on what they should be eating, how it's okay to eat junk food, but you shouldn't be eating for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And I think that, like Elder said, providing those resources for them and educating them at the same time will probably speed up the process and make it go a lot quicker. It's educating them, it's teaching them responsibility, and it's teaching them to really care about themselves, because if our leaders are the future, then they can't be today.
Thank you so much, Kamaya. And you have an amazing point. I definitely agree that education is a big role. It's a big part. If I'm going to school and y'all teaching me why X equals whatever, then you should be teaching me why if I don't eat healthy, I can get diabetes and it can ruin my life. I shouldn't have to learn that from an outside source. So education is a huge way that schools can um, help fix this. People not knowing if, like she said, hot Cheetos is a good solution for dinner instead of having a healthy meal. And if there's anybody from Baltimore City schools and y'all listening to me right now, I hope that y'all are taking what we are saying into consideration, because at the end of the day, now that y'all are hearing me, y'all are accountable. Y'all hear what the youth want. Y'all hear what the youth need. We need help from schools. We're there for more than 8 hours. Well, yeah, I don't know. I haven't been in high school in a while, but we're there for a while. So there should be some type of education revolving around food. Trent, do you have any ideas on how schools can help?
Yes, I was actually gonna say the same thing.
Oh, Trent is on mute. There you go.
I was actually gonna say the same thing that you was gonna say, actually. But yeah, I actually think that they should provide more like food deliveries, like food drop offs, like for like at least like 2 week supply, or like a week supply, so then people can just have food, so then they can eat during the day and just not eat like chips and soda for just dinner, and like, or just drink some water and like just eat junk all day and just not actual food. Like, it doesn't help you, and it doesn't help like your body, and yeah.
You're 100% right, Trent. And like he said, keyword delivery. Some of you may not know, but some of the food sites have been shut down because of Corona. And honestly, I don't really think that's a good solution. Shutting the sites down isn't fixing anything. People are still hungry even though the sites are down. Okay, I'm at a less risk of catching COVID, but now it's harder for me to get the resources that I need. So if we can have a delivery system, because my Amazon packages, they come the next day. So if we could get some of those Amazon workers getting food to the children and the youth and all of the families who need food, I definitely could see that as a solution. Kelly, what do you think?
Like I've been saying from the beginning, education, and everybody has been saying it, education. And I feel like if we connect food pantries and schools together, we can make a great combination because not only schools close to the people, because obviously if you go to a school, it's because you're in the district, so it will be so much easier to connect them together, and we break that barrier, that stigma that goes around on food pantries. How people, and some food pantries are really far away, so food delivery, like Trent has been saying this whole time, food delivery could be a great option. If we connect schools, food pantries, and delivery, we got it.
Thank you, Kelly. You have an amazing point. Naeem, what do you think?
I think in my opinion, I think we should like within my middle school, within the previous years, we used to have volunteers, to sell vegetables and goods and things of that nature. But I think the main thing is that the way the school can get involved is partnering up with warehouses in Baltimore City, because we don't always have warehouses and buildings that holds food that could get it out to people. And what if people live an hour away just to get the stuff? We want to provide transportation. We don't just don't want, not to try to provide it, at least, get involved and contribute. We wanted to come up with a solution with the transportation, how people would like to receive food, and so I think the thing is, getting with the warehouses, start like selling goods like vegetables, fruits every 5 days throughout the week or so. That's what my middle school did as well. So that's my suggestion.
And sorry, Naeem. And before Elder goes on, I just wanted to let everybody know, because we have so many questions, we're going to alternate between panelists between questions. We have two really important questions that we need to address. And I'm just going to read them for Elder because I know she is not monitoring the chat. We want to be sure that we discuss the comment about the food project that's being evicted in the chat, and how food, do we think that food restaurants would be open and willing to donating money to supplying healthy food?
All right. So, like Kamaya said, unfortunately, the food project is being evicted. So I don't know. Maybe everybody might not understand what that means, but that means they are no longer allowed to serve food out of the space that they're serving food out of. And that's completely unfair. Evicted, that's by choice. Someone did that, someone made that happen. So forcing food resources out of the system, I believe, is heartless. The community and the lawmakers and the policymakers need to be held responsible for whoever allowed that to happen, because the food project is somewhere that was providing food, healthy food, and accessible food, and now all of a sudden they're not able to do that. Does any of our panelists have any comments on that?
I just wanted to say that I'm so sorry to hear that you guys are being evicted. It's not fair, especially considering you guys are the voice of people who cannot stand up for themselves. What I do think is that we need to get on our policymakers. We need to get on our law enforcers who have the power to make these changes. Us as panelists, us as people, we don't have the power, and it sucks. But ultimately, we need to get on these people who do. People who have the power need to hear our voices, and they need to hear our concerns, and they need to hear that that's something that's not fair, especially it's something that's building our city up.
I definitely agree, and I want to elaborate on that. Not only the policymakers, but the people in office, because we have some officials that say, "Oh, they wanted to do this and they wanted to do that," but it's just the fact that the hesitation gets the best of them, who they are as a person.
You're 100% right. Thank you so much, Naeem. Do any of our panelists have any comments for this question? Because, like I said, this is completely unacceptable, and we need to hold these people accountable, because this was a source where people were getting food, and now all of a sudden it's not. And we're working so hard to find solutions to food insecurity, and when we have one, now all of a sudden it's unable to do the sole purpose that it's trying to do. So do any of our panelists have any more comments before we move on to the next question? No.
It's
All right.
we're trying to keep it to 2 panelists per question.
You did say that. You
We
did
do
say
have
that.
a lot of questions.
My bad. All right. So let's move on to the next.
The next question had to do with, did we think that fast food restaurants would be willing to donate money to this cause? And I'm speaking personally, I think it would be ludicrous to think that they would. Why would fast food restaurants donate money and put themselves out of business to feed people healthy food? It's just ludicrous, and it's insolent to our youth because that's giving them false hope. This is what's been feeding them for years on end. This is what McDonald's, Chick-fil-A, Burger King, this is what's been feeding our youth and our families for years on end. It's no way that they would give us money unless they would be willing to really do so, which I don't believe it is. They would. It's no way they would be willing to give away money to put themselves out of business. What I really think we need to get at is our policymakers in our schools, because they have the most influence on our youth. They have the most influence on our families. As much influence and power that fast food has over ourselves and our families, I think that we can break that. Our generation has that willpower. They have that experience. They have that drive to break that. And I think that if we put that together and combine it with our schools being on board and our policymakers being on board, we can accomplish anything.
I definitely agree.
Can I elaborate on that, please?
Yeah.
Oh, so I definitely I definitely agree with that. You know, some restaurants is not willing to do it, but we gotta look at how the point of view is, because like not only is they willing to to donate, what are they really do? Are they what is they really doing with the money? Like what is they doing with it? Because not too long ago, you had some schools that let the money go to the casino and things of that nature. We don't always want that to happen. Same thing with restaurants. If restaurants willing to pay up, we want to do it in a good cause and a necessary turn.
Okay. We have one more question. And it says, if you could create one law in Baltimore to end hunger, what would it be?
Ooh.
And any of our panelists have any ideas? Well, I give you all time to think. I know this question is right here.
If we could create one law in Baltimore to end food insecurity, I wouldn't choose a law. I wouldn't choose a law because food insecurity isn't something that you can end with a law. Food insecurity starts from within. So because we can't necessarily solve food insecurity with just food, it's no way that we could. We have to be able to bring people out of poverty, make sure that everybody has a job, and to have a job, you have to have a certain level of education in order to stay out of poverty. We have to educate our kids. We have to take care of our kids, and we have to care for them in a way that they need. We have to enforce equity into the homes of our families. So I wouldn't choose a law because I don't think that a law would fix this. I think that this is something that we need to come together and sit down and do together.
I definitely agree with that, Kamaya. Although I also feel like one law that I would implement is that all stores have to have fresh fruit. That's the law. You have to have fresh fruit. Before you sell alcohol, before you sell hot Cheetos, before you sell whatever you selling, you need to sell fresh fruit, because fresh fruit is one thing that can provide nourishment. You can eat it raw. You don't have to cook it. So it's equal. Someone without an oven can have the fresh fruit, and someone who does can also have the fresh fruit. So I feel like making sure that stores have fresh fruit, quality fresh fruit also is the law, because a lot of stores, they try to get over. So just emphasizing that fresh fruits, vegetables are provided at stores and locations. Naeem, did you have a question? A comment on this one?
No, I wanted to go last since I wanted to give them a chance.
I also definitely agree with Kamaya. I definitely do agree with Kamaya. With not, I wouldn't create a law about food insecurity. I honestly wouldn't, because like it already happens either way. It already happened. So like there's and nothing's happening towards it. Like stores are not putting like fresh food into the stores. They're just leaving it there, nothing new. And yeah.
Can I add something? Yeah. I do want to say that one main thing would be not letting anybody. This is impossible. I feel like it's really impossible to do. But if there was one law that we can make, is not we can't have anybody being poor. We can't have anybody being in the street. And I know that would be a huge thing to be able to accomplish at this point. But if we can have that happen, I feel like that we can do something. But like if we educate our kids like from the start, from the very start, we start educating everybody. If we fix the problem of poverty, I feel like we can fix something.
You're 100% right. And now that you said that, Kelly, something that kind of dawned on me is I feel like one law is that even though people who may not be citizens still need to be able to have access to uh food stamps. You know, just because you're not a citizen doesn't mean that you're just automatically ruled out and you can't get any benefits, because at the end of the day, we're all living in this country and a lot of people are struggling, and people who need those resources need to be able to get access to those resources. So
Let
do
me
we
add real quick to
go
that
ahead.
before we move on.
Go
And
ahead.
yes, we can apply to those stores and stuff, but it's like the law creates so much barriers for us to not be able to get it. Like they'll tell you, oh yeah, you'll get it, but then it'll take like a month, 3 months, and then a year, and then you get back and there's like you've been rejected because of this and that. So we can apply. We can most definitely apply. But what are the chances that we get accepted?
Thank you so much, Kelly, for clarifying. So now, you know, not only do I understand, but the people in the audience understand. Okay, you know, even though you may not be a citizen, you can apply, but they make you jump through hoops just to get what you need. And that part's just a little cold, you know, like in a system when everybody is equal, why would it be set up like that? Do we have any more questions from the audience?
We don't. We do. I just wanted to point out Taylor's comment. She said, she said, laws are being broke. Now, why add more? People are breaking the law to feed their families. Why are we adding laws that it just can't help? I just thought that was a really powerful comment, and I didn't want to skip over that. Back to you, Elder.
Thank you so much for pointing that out. Okay, so we have a question that says, how do you help kids that won't take help? Some kids have the mindset of I got this, but don't know where to start and need to get help. Right? If you wouldn't mind, I kind of have a solution to this one. Like me, I felt like you were talking to me. I'm the type of person, I got this. You know, I don't need your help. I got this. I've been doing it by myself all this time. I got it now. I feel like mentorship and having people who are actually willing to help. Now, a lot of people say they're gonna help. It's a difference. A lot of people say I'm gonna help the youth. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. But we need people who are willing to accept the youth looking you in your face and saying, "I don't need your help," because that's the honest truth. A lot of you feel like that because there are people who make false promises. I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. Of course, I'm not gonna want your help if I feel like you lying to me. You know, so having that trust between and the people who can actually provide the resources, I feel like really would help that.
And I had to make the face with Elder because I felt she was speaking directly to me. Like, you had to call me out like that. But speaking from personal experiences, I was one of those kids. I've always been one of those kids. And being quite honest, I still am. It takes a lot of personal growth. And like Elder said, it takes a lot of mentorship from the right people. We have a system that is built on lies, oppression, and poverty. I would never, ever expect a handout or help from the city or city officials If they told me today or tomorrow they would bring my family out of the situations we go through, I would never do it because it's nearly impossible. It just can't happen. They have never been in our shoes, so they don't understand. And a lot of the times when kids tell you that they don't need, I tell my mother honestly, I tell my mother sometimes, Carol, I don't need that. I don't need that help. And I do. We all need help. It's a matter of pride and it's a matter of fear. People are afraid that if they open themselves up to be vulnerable, that they won't get what they need. They won't get the equity that they need in their lives. So it's not all on the youth. I mean, we have a lot of personal accountability that we need to take for our actions, but this is not one of them. This is one of the things that are on people and our policymakers. And I'm really glad that you said that because this is something that people are afraid to talk about, but we actually need like good mentorship. And I got that from Miss Joni. Miss Joni and her smiles, they made me feel like I didn't have to be superwoman all day long, 24/7. And I still struggle some days because I'm a really big advocate for my future. But get into these programs that will make you feel like you don't got to be on top at all times. You ain't got to be on top. You ain't got to compete for everything. You ain't got to be number one. It's okay to be number two sometimes. Let somebody take the load off your shoulders. And for anybody out there who's listening and who was one of those kids like I was, it's okay to have somebody help you. It's okay to have somebody carry some of that weight because you can't do it all by yourself.
I definitely agree with what you just said, Kamaya, and I just had to second that. Especially my years in high school before this pandemic, we used to do driving Thursdays with Heart Smiles, and we would all go to Johns Hopkins. And one thing about driving Thursdays is you're gonna get a hot meal. We're not gonna run out, and if we do run out, Miss only gonna order pizza. So just being able to provide something reliable for you and building that trust, taking away that stigma. When I was at Driving Thursday, I never was scared to get a plate because I knew that the plate is for me. That plate is for me. That's why it's here. It's for me, and it's for everybody else who wants something to eat. And I can get as many plates as I want if I'm hungry. So just being open and making it a safe space for youth, because if a youth can trust you, then of course I'm going to take your help if I can trust you. But if I can't trust you and I can't trust what you're going to say, and if you say it's going to be food there and it's not food there, then I'm like, you lying. You trying to take advantage, and that's not cool. Do any of other panelists have any ideas?
I want to go.
Go ahead.
I want to elaborate the fact that yes, it can be hard, to convince people, to get the help what they need. But like I was told, it starts with you first. Not everybody gonna always get the receive the help of their needs because everybody has to start with themselves in order to find what they really need in life, whether it's within food or mental health. Things of that nature. It could be anything, whether it comes to you in life. So that's what I would definitely say to that comment as well.
Thank you so much, Naeem. Thank you. And before we move on, I just wanted to remind you guys, I'm still checking the hashtag. So if you haven't already made a post, make sure that you do so that we have a good option to pick from. Do we have any other questions?
Well, before we do highlight this question that's on the screen, somebody said something really important that really caught my eye. I don't know how to pronounce her name, but she said, how about allow a petition to lower the prices of healthy food? Why do they have to make unhealthy food cheaper than quality food that we really need and is full of necessary nutrition? So what I'm gonna say to that, yeah, we do need something like that because you're right. It's not a person like me. I'm a guilty of this. Like I'll go to like any store and I'll just go to like the chip aisle because it's more expensive. I mean, less expensive. Sorry, it's more cheaper. And so I just grab a bag of chips and I'm like, oh, this will fill me up for like a couple of hours. I'll be good because I know that I have so much other responsibilities to worry about. So I feel like yeah, we do need a law to lower the prices or some petition, like she said, to lower the prices so that way that we don't feel like we have to choose whether we get something that's cheap and is unnutritious or we get something that is going to fill us up and is good for us as well.
That's 100% true. Food, it should be a necessity for it should be equal to everybody. Everybody should be able to pay for it, regardless of how much you make, how much money you have. You should be able to have food. So I feel like lowering prices of food, it makes sense. We need food to live. You know, so I definitely think that lowering the prices would be a good idea. Any of our other panelists have an idea for that question?
Oh, as we elaborate on how petitions or law can be lower for healthy foods, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so I think it depend. Well, let me say this. When it comes to law or petition of the lowest price of the healthy food, I think it is a good idea, but at the same time, it's not always about the profit. It's about the quality of the produce or consumable as itself. I get, I understand, everybody not, eligible to pay for this and that and the third, but we want to make things very equal, very, things that's equality for everyone. Don't matter what who they are, what they look like, at least everybody get to eat healthy, physically, you know. So that's what I would, that's my input into that question.
And I think that we also have to remember, I think this was also a really good idea. And this is something that none of us have thought of.
Yeah.
This is definitely something none of us considered or thought of. And I also think we need to remember that it's not just about how much the food is, but it's about, can you afford it? Can you afford to buy it? Can you afford to take that money out of your paycheck and pay for it? If these people are not going to give you benefits to do so. And a lot of people, they get labeled, you make too much. I know that was the excuse they gave my mom. They told my brother's 21, and they said, oh, your son makes too much. He got a baby on the way. And my mother has to support 4 kids and now a grandchild. So it's not just about how much the food costs in the supermarket. It's about how much money is on my card. Can I afford to pay for this food? And can I afford to pay for the lights, the cable, the internet, so my kids can do their schoolwork? Can I pay for the BG&E so we're not cold? It's 36 degrees outside. Like, it's a lot of things, and there's a lot of different factors that we have to keep in mind. And that's why food insecurity is just something that won't be solved. We can put issues out there to make sure that we can try to lower it, but it can't be solved because there are so many different factors to it.
Okay, thank you so much, Kamaya. You make a great point. We have time for one more question. Would the moderator mind throwing that last question up there? Okay, cool. So this question says, do you think most people are well informed about what's happening? What do you think people can do more of to spread this awareness? Honestly, I don't think people are well aware of what's going on. Like we said, there's a huge stigma surrounding food insecurity, and a lot of people don't like to talk about it, and they don't like to say, I am hungry. My family does need food. So one way that we can spread awareness is keep having events like these. Keep having youth come to the front and say, yo, we're hungry and we need help. And I feel like if we all keep doing that, then we will be able to spark some change.
I want to add something to that.
Okay, go ahead.
It's not for me, like my family, like I went through some mental health things, and it's not that we're afraid. I mean, it's not that we're not aware of it. It's that we're afraid to talk about it. It's that we, like you said, we have a stigma. So it's not that we don't know. We know that these things are happening, but are we speaking on it? No, because we're afraid to talk about these stuff. We don't. Well, personally, my family, they feel like they shouldn't be talking about these things because it's not related to them. It's nothing that, okay, I can't do nothing about it, so I'm not gonna say anything. My family is something like, oh, I'm gonna keep on pushing forward and get money, even though it's hard. They do it because they know that they're just afraid to just speak up. It's not that we're not aware.
That's 100% true. And unfortunately, you guys, we never have enough time, like I said. And And now that we've spoken about these topics, if you or anybody that you know needs help getting resources to food, it's okay. You guys can just shoot us an email at foodwon'tfixhunger@gmail.com. And in the subject box, say food resources. And we will email you guys back a list of places where you can get food and easy, accessible, quality food. So that's foodwon'tfixhunger@gmail.com. And we will just send you guys whatever you need. We're open, and that's why we're doing this, in order to provide resources to the people who need them. You know, don't be ashamed. Like we said, stigma. It's okay to ask for help. That's why we're here. And like I said, you guys make sure that you follow go the distance Baltimore on Instagram so you can keep up with us. And don't be afraid to share your ideas on food insecurity, because as you can see, it's a huge issue and it needs to be solved. And that's why we're working together to make some change. So now we're gonna get into this raffle. I hope y'all used your hashtags, made y'all posts. I'm gonna have some of my panelists send some of the posts to me, and we're gonna decide who we think is the winner. And y'all gonna win either a MacBook, iPad, iPhone. So once we pick the winner and you hear your name, your responsibility is to contact Heart Smiles MD. That's Heart Smiles MD, and hopefully they can put it up on the bottom so you can see, so that you can redeem your prize. So give us 1 minute. We're gonna look at this, and I'm gonna let y'all know. And before we end off, and while we're looking for this winner, do our panelists have any final thoughts that we really just want to leave this audience with? Like, if they didn't hear anything else, what's one thing that y'all want to leave them with?
I'll go. One thing I want people to take from this conversation today with me and the panelists is and I want to tell you, like, this is a real good conversation. And like I said, tell a friend to tell a friend. If you struggling, if you have a full outage within your area and your house, contact us. It's better than nothing, and everyone shouldn't feel ashamed of getting the best resources they need. It's
Yeah.
probably not perfect, but it's really what you need, and it can help you with and you physically as well.
Thank you. Do any of our other panelists have any final thoughts?
I do.
Okay.
This is a quote from one of our success sessions back in the summer. And Miss Mo, I know you're out there listening. I want you to tell the lovely Miss Olu Butterfly that I used her quote, and I still listen to it to this day. She said, "You don't have to be perfect to be amazing. You don't have to be perfect to be amazing. You don't have to have it all together at your age. You don't have to be stable. You don't have to be mentally stable. You don't have to be financially stable. You don't have to be physically stable. You don't have to have it all together. It's okay to be you. And it's okay to ask for help. You don't have to be perfect to be amazing." And for our adults who are listening, stop bleeding on people who didn't cut you. Our generation deserves more than what you're giving them. So it's really time for y'all to step up and give them what they deserve.
Thank you so much, Kamaya. That is so powerful. We got a comment that says, "Thank you all for representing the people who are full insecurity, including me." So, guys, as you can see, we are helping real people who are suffering with the same issues. It also says such an incredible. Okay, I'm not gonna read them because they're going too fast, but I hope y'all can see them. But like, as you can see, we are having an amazing impact, and it's only 5 of us here right now talking, and we're already making an impact. So if each of us brought one person, that's 10 of us. Imagine how much of a bigger impact we could make if we just keep doing things like this, keep spreading awareness, and keep holding people accountable, because food insecurity is an issue and people need food to live. Do any of our panelists have any final thoughts before we pick this winner?
Yes, I want to say anybody go search up Central Store as well. I'm gonna give up my group a shout out as well. Go to Central Store. We also have, like I was saying, we have sites that you guys can go and pick food, and you just need to sign up. And one other thing that I do want to highlight is we need to educate ourselves a lot more. We need to provide jobs. Obviously, it's not up to us, but like anybody that can do that, like Amaya was saying, this is up to people higher than us. Providing more jobs, not just temporary jobs that will keep us, like, give us money for a short period of time, but long-term jobs that our youth can work and we can get money and we can provide for our families. This is the main thing that I wanted to highlight.
Thank you so much. Trent, what are your final comments?
Um, I had my thought, but I just lost it.
Okay. We're gonna pick this winner, and then we're gonna come back to you. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, guys. So I'm looking at this raffle, and one of the posts that really stuck out to me. I'm sorry. Give me 1 second, y'all. Kamaya, take it away while you see me trying to do this thing.
Can I just say that all of y'all that participated in this conversation, truly amazing and inspiring. Truly, truly amazing and inspiring. Like I've seen some comments about people having to watch YouTube videos just to feel full. And so I think that this is so, so important. And we really thank you guys for engaging with us this whole time, because it's hard to keep kids in class for an hour and 20 minutes learning about y equals mx plus b. But for y'all to sit here for an hour and 30 and to engage with us nonstop and to make us feel like y'all really care about this and really feel the use pain is such an amazing feeling. And I tell y'all, I had to hold back tears. Like, I'm a crier. I had to hold back tears because I was just like, wow, like these are really y'all experiences. Like y'all really had to endure these things, and y'all really been through some things in your life. And whatever you want to do, you got it. You got it in the bag. You ain't got that. You got it in the bag. Elder, you ready to announce this winner?
Yeah, I'm ready. Thank you so much. And before we announce this winner, I just want to say thank you guys to everybody who's been with us, who's been engaging with us, dropping these comments, dropping these questions, because if you guys weren't here, we would just be sitting here talking to ourselves. So I definitely appreciate you guys giving your commentary, but I just want to encourage you to don't stop here. Don't let this town hall be the last time you telling somebody about food insecurity. Keep pushing the issue. And I feel like if we keep pushing this issue, we're gonna grab some attention of the people who can make this change. Trent, I'm passing it to you.
I'm actually, yeah. I love the support with everybody and love that everybody's supporting their details and like explaining what they've been through with all the food insecurity, and knowing that I haven't been like a part of it, like I haven't like experienced any of it. I'm truly sorry from what y'all have to go through and with all of this, and I hope it gets better for you.
Thank you so much, Trent, for just being honest and being open, and it feels good to understand that, okay, somebody understands where I'm coming from. Somebody understands my pain. So thank you so much, Trent. And now it's time for the winner. Can I get a drum roll, please? Okay, so our winner today is Purely Me. Purely Me. She's the winner. And we chose her because, she been engaging with us all day. Look at me there with that yellow shirt on, this orange shirt on. She has been supporting us, staying engaged, asking questions. Thank you so much, Purely Me. So make sure that there she go. Make sure y'all go follow her because she a real one. She been supporting and engaged. Purely Me. All you gotta do is contact Heart Smiles MD on Instagram, and she will get you your MacBook, iPad, iPhone, whatever it is that you want. So like I said, guys, thank you so much for coming out, supporting us, being 100%, being real with us, hearing our stories, and all of our adults. Like I said, it's your responsibility to do everything that you can to help us. Because even though we may not be, having a sign, I'm hungry. A lot of us have an invisible sign, and we're like, I'm hungry. Anything helps. So anything that you can do to help support us, or if you know a policymaker or somebody that can help solve this issue, it's your responsibility to do what you can. Any final thoughts before we get up off here from my panelists?
If anybody needs any resources, any support, any help, please, 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 please contact Miss Joni, contact Miss Mo, contact Miss Emma. If you need some help getting into college, definitely contact Miss Emma or Miss Caitlin. Miss Caitlin gonna make sure you learn. Definitely gonna make sure you learn. Or
And
one of the heartbeats. Like, we got y'all. Y'all may not know us, but get to know us. Like, we really family oriented. We got y'all. And if you need something, please don't hesitate to ask, because if one of us don't have it, the other person will. And if they don't have it, we're gonna find somebody who have it. That's one thing about them heartbeats. They can find somebody who have it.
Yes,
Thank you for
we can.
coming with us, for real.
Yes, we can. Man, thank you so much. We really appreciate. I love you guys. Thank you for coming on, listening to us, and just keep doing everything you can. Keep spreading awareness, and we'll see you guys later.